Have you ever heard that envy is a fire that consumes the one who carries it? In our village, we learned this lesson in the most terrifying way. It all began with Adana, a woman whose beauty was praised in songs, but whose heart was as cold as the Harmattan wind. She was my father's second wife, my stepmother. My mother, may her soul rest in peace, had been the sun of my father's world. I, Amara, was the living proof of their love. But after my mother passed, a shadow fell over our home, and that shadow had a name, Adana. At first, she was all smiles and sweet words, calling me my daughter and braiding my hair with gentle hands. But her eyes held a different story. They were like a hawk's, always watching, always judging. She had a son, Namdi, a boy a few years older than me. Adana wanted all of my father's affection, all his wealth, all his legacy for her son. I was an obstacle, a constant reminder of the woman who had come before her. The whispers started small, like the rustling of leaves. Amara is lazy, she would tell the neighbors. Amara is disobedient, she would complain to my father. But my father, blinded by her cunning charm, saw only a devoted wife trying to raise a difficult child. The day everything changed started like any other. The sun was high, and the market was buzzing with life. Adana sent me to the stream to fetch water, a chore I had done 1,000 times. And be quick about it, she'd said, her voice sharp. The chief is visiting today, and I won't have you embarrassing this family. As I walked, a strange feeling washed over me. The path seemed longer, the air thicker. When I reached the stream, the water was unusually still, like a sheet of dark glass. As I bent down to fill my pot, a chilling voice hissed from the bushes behind me. It was Adana. She wasn't alone. With her was a man I had never seen before, his face marked with unsettling symbols and his eyes glowing with a sinister light. He was a dibia, a medicine man who dealt in dark and forbidden things. She is the one, Adana spat, pointing a trembling finger at me. The thorn in my side. I want her gone. Not dead. Worse than dead. I want her to suffer, to be forgotten. My blood ran cold. I tried to scream, but my voice was stolen from me. The dibia began to chant in a language I did not understand, his words twisting the very air around me. He threw a fine, gray powder into the wind, and it swirled towards me, stinging my skin like 1,000 tiny needles. A blinding pain shot through my body. My bones felt like they were breaking and reshaping themselves. I fell to my knees, my hands scrabbling at the dirt. I tried to call for my father, but what came out was not a human sound. It was a weak, pitiful bleat. I looked down at my hands, but they were no longer hands. They were hooves. My skin was covered in coarse, white fur. I was trapped, my mind screaming inside a body that was no longer my own. I had become a goat. Adana laughed, a sound so cruel it could curdle milk. Now, she sneered, looking down at me, you are nothing but livestock. No one will ever know. She tied a rope around my neck and dragged me back towards our compound, my hooves stumbling on the familiar path that now felt so alien. Back home, Adana put on a masterful performance. She wailed and tore at her clothes, telling my father and the gathered villagers that I had been stubborn, that I had run off with a boy from a neighboring village. I tried to guide her, she cried, crocodile tears streaming down her face, but she would not listen. My father, his heart shattered by her lies, believed every word. He looked at me, the goat tied to a post, with empty eyes, never suspecting the horror that stood right before him. For days, I watched through the eyes of a goat as Adana reveled in her victory. She paraded her son, Namdi, in front of my father, cementing his place as the sole heir. She fed me scraps and leftover peels, laughing at my misery. But Adana made one mistake. She underestimated Namdi, her own son. He was not like his mother. He had a kind heart, and he had always treated me like a real sister. He noticed things. He saw the sadness in the goat's eyes. He saw how the goat would follow our father around, nudging his hand as if trying to tell him something. One evening, he brought me a bowl of fresh water. As I drank, a single tear fell from my eye and landed in the bowl. Namdi saw it. His brow furrowed in confusion. Goats don't cry. He started watching his mother more closely, noticing the cruel smirk she wore whenever she looked at me, the strange herbs she kept hidden in her room. The truth began to unravel during the great New Yam festival. It was a time of celebration, and every family was expected to offer their best. Adana, in her ultimate act of wickedness, declared that I, the finest goat, would be the sacrifice for our family's feast. Panic seized me. This was her final plan, to have my own father unknowingly feast upon his daughter. As the men came to untie me, I thrashed and bleated, my cries filled with a terror no animal could fake. Namdi saw the pure, human fear in my eyes and knew something was terribly wrong. He ran, not to our father, but to the oldest woman in the village, the wise elder known as Mama Ebra. He told her everything, the goat that cried, his mother's strange behavior, the chilling look in her eyes. Mama Ebra was a woman who understood the old ways, the balance between the seen and the unseen world. She listened intently, her ancient face grim. She came to our compound and looked at me for a long, silent moment. "This is no ordinary animal," she finally declared, her voice ringing with authority. "There is dark magic at play here." She confronted Adana, who at first denied everything. But under Mama Ebra's piercing gaze and the weight of the entire village's attention, her lies began to crumble. Mama Ebra began a powerful counterchant, a prayer to the ancestors for justice and truth. As she spoke, the air grew heavy again. But this time it was not with malice, but with power. She sprinkled sacred water on me, and the world spun. The agonizing pain returned, but this time it was a release. My body stretched and reformed. The fur receded, my hooves became hands and feet, and my voice returned to me in a single, gasping sob. I stood before my father and the stunned villagers, myself once more. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. My father stared, his face a mask of disbelief, then horror, then gut-wrenching grief as he understood the depth of the betrayal. Adana, exposed and cornered, shrieked as the magic, with nowhere else to go, turned back on her. In a horrifying twist of fate, the curse she had placed on me found its true owner. Before our very eyes, she began to change, her form twisting and shrinking until, where the wicked stepmother once stood, there was now a bleeding black goat. The curse had found its rightful home. Justice, in the most terrifying way, had been served. Our village never forgot the lesson of the goat, a reminder that the evil you wish upon others will always, always find its way back to you. Thank you so much for watching our story unfold. If you were moved by Amara's journey, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.